Hey, Jason here from Simply Swider. Is your LG washer displaying an IE or 1E error code and refusing to fill with water? Don't panic. I'm going to walk you through the exact steps to fix this problem. Here's the great news. 90% of the time, this is a simple fix you can handle yourself in under 30 minutes, saving you a costly repair call. Before we get started, if you run into any questions, jump into our Facebook group. Links in the description. We've got thousands of people helping each other fix their appliances, and I pop in there daily to help out. So the most common culprit I see, and I mean this accounts for probably half the service calls I get, is water faucets that aren't cranked all the way open. I had this customer last month call me in a panic because her brand new washer was throwing this error right after installation. Turns out the installer only opened the faucets about halfway. You'll know this is your problem if the tub fills at a crawl or barely at all. Here's what you do. Pull your washer out just enough to get behind there and turn both faucet handles counterclockwise until they won't turn anymore. I'm talking fully open, people. Takes about 30 seconds and costs you nothing. Another super common issue is when those water supply hoses get bent, kinked, or pinched behind the washer. This happens all the time when folks push their machines back against the wall too hard. You'll still get some water flow, but not enough to keep that timer happy. Pull your washer out and squat down to look at those hoses. They should have a nice smooth curve with no sharp bends or twists. Now, here's something that might surprise you. Those flood-safe hoses that are supposed to prevent leaks, they can actually restrict water flow so much that they trigger this error code. If you've got those installed, try swapping them out for regular washing machine hoses and see if that solves your problem. Here's where it gets a little more involved, but still totally doable. Those tiny mesh screens where your hoses connect to the back of the washer, they catch all kinds of crud, rust, minerals, and sediment over time. I've pulled screens out of machines that look like they were packed with coffee grounds. You'll know it's this when you've checked the faucets and hoses, but you're still getting that IE code. Safety first, this is critical. Unplug the washer from the wall and turn off both water faucets completely. You'll need needle nose pliers and possibly a towel for any drips. Now disconnect both hoses. Expect a small amount of water to spill out, so have that towel ready. Look inside those connection ports on the back of the washer. Use needle nose pliers to carefully pull out those screens, then clean them with an old toothbrush under running water until they look brand new. Pop them back in and reconnect everything securely. All right. So the IE or 1E code basically means your washer can't fill with enough water in the time it's supposed to. I'm going to walk you through these fixes in order of probability and difficulty. We'll start with 30-second checks that solve the problem 80% of the time, then move to 15-minute repairs, and finally cover part replacements. Follow this exact order. It'll save you time and money. Trust me on this one. Most of the time, it's going to be something ridiculously simple that you'll kick yourself for not checking earlier. Replacement inlet filter screens will run you about 5 to 15 bucks if you need new ones instead of just cleaning the old ones. You can grab these at any appliance parts store or order them online. This is definitely a DIY job. Super easy to swap out and way cheaper than a service call. Sometimes cleaning them isn't enough if they're really deteriorated or damaged, but for 15 bucks, it's worth having a spare set on hand. The water inlet valve is where things get a bit more serious. You're looking at $20 to $124 for this part, depending on your specific model. Here's what I've learned over the years. Hard water is brutal on these valves. They get gunked up with minerals and eventually fail to open properly. Here's how to test it. Start a wash cycle and listen carefully at the back of the machine. You should hear a distinct clicking sound within the first 30 seconds. That's the valve opening. No click usually means the valve has failed. For advanced testing, you'll need a multimeter set to ohms. Disconnect the valve's wire harness and test across the terminals. You want to see between 500 and 1500 ohms. Outside this range means you need a new valve. Here's the thing though. If you're dealing with a newer LG machine, make sure you get the right type of valve. DC valves are used on the newer models, and using the wrong type can fry your control board. The pressure switch runs about 15 to 40 bucks and tells your washer when it's got enough water. Here's something most people don't know. There's a thin rubber tube that connects to this switch and it loves to pop off, especially on those direct drive models. Before you buy a new switch, remove that back panel and check if that little tube is still connected. If the switch itself is bad, you'll need a multimeter to test it properly. Blow into the attached tube while checking continuity. If the reading doesn't change, the switch is toast. This is probably where most people mess up. They replace the inlet valve when the real problem is a $20 pressure switch or a tube that just needs to be pushed back on. You can see right there on your screen the models that typically run into these issues most often. The direct drive models seem to have more trouble with inlet valves and pressure switch problems. That rubber tube I mentioned loves to detach on those units. The Trom series are like magnets for clogged filter screens, and those front loaders with the true balance feature often get installed in tight spaces where the hoses get kinked against the wall. Take a look and see if your model's up there. That's how you tackle the LGIE error code. Start with the simple stuff, check those faucets, straighten out any kinked hoses, and clean those inlet screens. Most of the time, one of these fixes will get you back to doing laundry. Know someone struggling with appliance problems? Share this video. It could save them hundreds in repair costs. If this helped you get your washer working again, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let me know which fix worked for you. Really helps other people with the same problem. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get this out to more folks who need to save some time and money. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.